Namaste students. Today we are going to continue the lesson Tribes, Nomads and Settled Communities. In previous session we have learnt about who were the tribals, what were their major occupations, the spread of tribes, how were nomads and mobile people lived, who were the Banjaras. Let's see new caste and hierarchies. The demand for people with new skills arose with the growth in the economy and with increased needs of the society. Varnas were further divided into smaller castes or jatis. For example, amongst the Brahmanas, new caste appeared. On the other hand, many tribes and social groups were taken into caste based societies and were given the status of jatis. Brahmanas recognized specialized artisans, which consisted of smiths, carpenters, and masons, as separate jatis. Jatis rather than Varna became the basis of organizing society. By the 11th and 12th centuries, new Rajput clans among the Kshatriyas became powerful. They belonged to different lineages like Hunas, Chandelas, Chalukyas, and others. Some of these lineages too were tribes before. Many of these clans came to be considered as Rajputs. Especially in agricultural areas, they replaced the older rulers over a period of time. This was the beginning of the emergence of developed society, and rulers created powerful states by using their wealth. The rise of Rajput clans to the position of the rulers set an example for the tribal people to follow. Many tribes became part of the caste system with the support of the Brahmanas. But the ruling class comprised of only the leading tribal families. Others joined the lower jatis of caste society. Many dominant tribes of the region of Punjab, Sindh, and the northwest frontier had adopted Islam quite early. They did not accept the caste system and the unequal social order prescribed by the Orthodox Hinduism. Let's a closer look of the Gonds. The Gonds lived in Gondwana, which was a large forested region. The name Gondwana means country inhabited by Gonds. The kind of agriculture practiced by them was called shifting cultivation. The Gond tribe was further divided into many smaller clans. Each clan had its own Raja or Rai. During the period when the Delhi Sultans were facing a decline in power, a few large Gond kingdoms were beginning to dominate the smaller Gond chiefs. The history of Akbar ring, called Akbarnama, mentions the Gond kingdom of Garga Katanga that had 70,000 villages. The administration system of these kingdoms was becoming centralized in nature. The kingdom was divided into Gargs. A particular Gond clan controlled each Garg. This was further divided into units of 84 villages known as Chaurazi. The Chaurazi was subdivided into Barghats. Barghats were made up of 12 villages each. The emergence of large states led to changes in the nature of Gond society. The society, which earlier had equality in it, gradually got divided into unequal social classes. The Gond Rajas gave land grants to the Brahmanas. The Brahmanas hence became more influential. Now the Gond chiefs wished to be recognized as Rajputs. Hence, Hamandas, the Gond Raja of Garga Katanga, assumed the title of Sangram Shah. Dalpat, his son, married Princess Durgavati, the daughter of Salbahan. The Chandal Rajput Raja of Mahoba Dalbat died early. Rani Durgavati was very capable and started ruling on behalf of her son Bir Narain, who was 5 years of age. The kingdom became even more extensive under her. The Mughal forces under Asaf Khan in 1565 attacked Gargakatanga. She resisted strongly but was defeated. She preferred death instead of surrender. Even her son died fighting soon after. Gargakatanga was a rich state. It earned much wealth by trapping and exporting wild elephants to other kingdoms. A huge booty of precious coins and elephants was captured by the Mughals when they defeated the Gonds. They annexed part of the kingdom and gave the rest to Chandra Shah, who was Bir Narain's uncle. The Gond kingdom survived for some time in spite of all of Gargakatanga. They, however, became weaker and later failed in their struggle against the stronger Bandelas and Marathas. Let's see the Ahom tribes. They migrated from the present day Myanmar to the Brahmaputra Valley in the 13th century. They suppressed the older political system of the landlords and created a new state. They annexed the following kingdoms and subjugated many other tribes during the 16th century: Chutias in 1523, Koch Hajo in 1581. They built large states using firearms as early as the 1530s. They could even make high quality gunpowder and cannons by the 1660s. Attack on Ahoms. In the southwest, they faced many invasions. In 1552, under Mir Jumla, the Mughals attacked the kingdom. The Ahoms were defeated despite their strong defense. However, the Mughals could not have direct control over them for a long time. The Ahom state depended on forced labor. The people who were forced to work were called pikes. Each village had to send a certain number of pikes by rotation based on the census taken. People were shifted from highly populated areas to less populated areas, thus breaking the clan. The administration became quite centralized by the first half of the 17th century. During war, almost all adults males served in the army. They were engaged in the following activities at other times: building dams and irrigation systems, other public works. They also introduced new methods of rice cultivation. The Ahom society was divided into clans or kels. The artisan community had very few caste ends. Artisans in the Ahom areas came from adjoining kingdoms. A kel often controlled many villages. The peasants was given land by his village community, which could not be taken away even by the king without the community's consent. The Ahom society was quite sophisticated. Theatre was encouraged. Poets and scholars were given land grants. Important works in Sanskrit were translated into the local language. Even historical works were written. These were written first in the Ahom language and then in Assamese. These were known as Burunjis. The Ahoms originally worshipped their own tribal gods. There was an increase in the influence of Brahmanas in the first half of the 17th century. The king granted land to the temples and Brahmanas. In the reign of Sip Singh in 1714 to 1744, the predominant religion was Hinduism. But even after adopting the religion, the Ahom kings did not totally give up their traditional beliefs. Let's see the changes in society. During the period that we have been examining, There were a lot of social changes. Varna based society and tribal people interacted constantly with each other. This caused both the societies to adapt and change. There were variety of tribes and they were engaged in diverse occupations. Many of them over a period of time merged with caste based society. There were, however, some tribes who rejected both the caste system and Orthodox Hinduism. Some tribes also organized extensive states and introduced well organized system of administration in them, hence gaining political power. This led to conflicts between them and the larger and complex kingdoms and empires. I hope you all understand this lesson. Thank you.